What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. Today we're going over update 32.2.10, and there's not much in it, so I actually have something I want to talk about that's, I think, more important than just this little tiny hotfix that changed, like, very minute things. There's a frame that came out, like, about a year ago that I think is completely forgotten, like, the most forgotten frame of the entire game, and they keep making these changes to Voruna. I think Voruna's fine now. Can we go back and start looking at frames that are actually forgotten? That'll be the point of this video. Before we get into it, though, we do daily Warframe video uploads. Make sure you're subbed so you can see when the uploads go up. Also, check out the live stream channel. We'll not be live tonight. Got something special going on offline. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with some live Warframe stream. Then we'll be doing Elden Ring and Hollow Knight on Friday. And of course, you know, Warframe all the other days and all that stuff, too. Alright, so the update today was really not a big doozy. The biggest thing on there we're going to go over right away. Basically, they made it where Voruna, her invisibility, you get like a buff when you leave invisibility. So the Shroud of Dynar now grants the buff for 3 seconds upon leaving invisibility in every possible way, instead of relying on using melee and hit a target when you leave invisibility. So what that basically means, if you don't know what Voruna's abilities are, basically her first ability makes her go invis, and like usually, well, before this change, you would have to hit an enemy with a melee attack to leave invis and get a buff that gives you like crit damage. What else does it give you? It gives you like increased crit damage, increased status chance, and inflicts bleed procs with that melee. Now, if and that's the only way you could leave before, is if you hit a melee attack or like got shot or something, or it ran out. Now, if you go invis, you shoot a gun, you will get a 3 second of that buff. Keep in mind, though, if you want the buff to last the longest duration it's supposed to, you're still going to want to leave invis with a melee attack, just like before. We want to get a kill as well when you're invis, so there you go. The buff is it was 9 seconds there, so Voruna is still the exact same. It basically this is like certain situations where maybe you want to leave invis shooting your gun instead of leaving invis doing a melee attack. You can just do that now. That's basically it. It might be better with her 4, but who's even using Voruna's 4, honestly? And the thing is, they keep making these changes to Voruna. Voruna's already fine. Like, this change did not need to happen. So I'm actually going to look a little bit further here. Okay. By the way, that's like the only change that happened in the hotfix today. Oh, one other thing, actually. If you have the on-call landing craft ability from the Scout, which basically summons Call into your mission, now Call will have a better target acquisition. They will hunt down enemies and target them a lot better than they did before. And these are actually pretty good for drawing aggro, I suppose, as you could use it on any character. And they do scale to enemy level, so if you're like an endurance runner or whatever, and not in a level 3 call against level 190 heavy gunners, this is not a realistic situation. Okay, that's all well and good. They've changed Voruna and buffed Voruna like 3 or 4 times after release. Okay, now the real stuff. What happened to Caliban, DE? What happened to Caliban? Why has Caliban only been buffed once ever in his entire existence? Caliban is really bad. Caliban is one of the worst frames in the game, in my opinion, because he's a new frame, and you'd think new frames would be like the really good OP ones. No, Caliban literally has one good ability. Fusion Strike, his ultimate, will be full armor and shield strip, and that's basically it. His other abilities, his first ability is the worst ability in the game, in my opinion. What this does, it turns you into like a spinning around, like, I guess Beyblade is what people refer to it as. It takes away your guns, it drains your energy over time, it does like 0 damage. I need to get rid of Call somehow. This frame came out the day the new war released, and he is so bad. They said they were going to buff him more. The exact same verbiage they used when Voruna came out, they used with Caliban. We will be looking at feedback and potentially like buffing them and stuff in the future. 6 damage! 6 damage, dude. My guns are gone. I can't fire my guns. Literally, Call does more damage than my first ability does. Now, keep in mind, I'm not modded. And, of course, you can cast a second ability, which is a debuff, while in this. But you want to know some other fun stuff with Caliban? His second and third abilities have anti-synergy. I cast my sentient minions. I use Sentient Wrath. While the enemies are ragdolled, the sentient minions cannot actually hit these guys. There's anti-synergy between his two of his abilities. So I think stop buffing Voruna, start buffing Caliban, start maybe buffing Gyre, even though Gyre is pretty good with Nourish now. This guy right here is forgotten. He is forgotten, and I'm going to show an actual build, what he normally does. But I believe that it's time to stop buffing Voruna. Let's start buffing Caliban again. He came out like a little bit over a year ago, around when the new war came out. And with a build like this, it's full armor and shield strip. But honestly, these other abilities, you always take his first ability off. His first ability is just a helmet slot, honestly. So I've used Condemn on him in the past. So here's kind of like what you can expect from a normal Caliban setup. Oh look, they're all armor strip, but at the same time, that's all this frame does is armor strip. So these minions do nothing. Also, he has weird restrictions, like a enemy cap on his 2. See, that guy's finally out of Sentient Wrath, so the Sentient can hit him. But then anti-synergy begins again. So it's just terrible. So, as far as what I would do to Caliban, I think that the AI on his minions is so bad that they need, like, guns or something. The fact that they're melee minions make them too stupid to hit enemies affected by Sentient Wrath. And as I said right here, this has a target max on it. Why does this ability have a max target amount that scales with strength? It just seems unnecessary. Of course, you will be modding Caliban for strength in almost every situation, so with around 200% strength, like 30-ish enemies are affected. It's a 74% damage vulnerability increase as well. So, decent things here. It does some damage as well, which can kill low-level enemies, but the fact that the sentience you summon can't even hit enemies in here is just, it's hilariously bad. His passive is like a weaker adaptation, which is, you know, it's an okay passive, not a great passive. But man, this guy came out so long. Like, honestly, guys, do you ever see a Caliban in any of your missions, ever? I have probably seen, like, 1 or 2 Calibans in a public matchmaking mission in, like, the entire time he's been out, which has been over a year, like I said. So, they should make changes to him. I don't know what they would really do to his 1. It seems like an ability that's so bad, like, it needs to, like, scale off of melee mods or something. Or if they're okay with it just being the ability you helmet off, I guess that also technically works. If you like Caliban, let me know in the comments down below. I think his 4 is fine. It used to like knock enemies around the room. Now it pulls enemies in. But that's the only change they ever made to Caliban, guys. The day after he came out, they made this ability suction enemies in instead of knocking them all around the room like it used to. So, yeah. That's basically it. Caliban is bad. Voruna got an unnecessary change. It's just basically a quality of life change to Voruna. And as far as Gyre, you know, I've been enjoying Gyre with Nourish, which makes it so she gets actual decent energy regen. But even with Gyre, look at her abilities that she has available to her. Her first ability and her second ability are basically the same thing. The first ability is going to shock enemies over time, does like 2,000 damage at base, and 250 damage over time. Does not suck enemies in. The second ability does 1,250 damage, or 1,500 damage a second, and it will explode and all that, but it pulls enemies in. They're basically the same exact ability. You throw a ball that shocks things with the first one, throw a ball that shocks enemies with the second one. The same thing, but the second one just better. So you just helmet off the first one. So, I don't know, maybe they can make it where her 1 is more effective. They need to buff her third ability. The energy regen on this is terrible. Look at 1.5 energy rate per second at base. And of course it scales to strength. But look at a frame that came out like right after her. Literally the frame that came out right after her is just vastly superior. The base energy regen of Styron X is actually double the energy rate per second of Gyre. And to add insult to injury, this energy rate is for your entire team. Gyre's energy regeneration is just for her. I know, of course, it gives you a crit buff, but this also, it's not like this does only one thing as well. This also gives you shield regen on kill, which is great for shield gating and survivability of that nature. So, I hope DE can do something with Caliban and maybe even Gyre going forward, because Voruna's gotten about like 4 or 5 buffs. They definitely like Voruna a lot more than like Caliban. So maybe buff Caliban. He's a pretty annoying frame to get. You have to beat the new war and then do those bounties and stuff. So let me know how you guys feel about this. What other frames need buffs? We do know Inaros is for sure getting a rework this year, confirmed by DE developers. Inaros is next for a rework. Of course, Hydroid could probably use one too, and a couple other frames as well. Either way, guys, I'll see you later. I'm doing some secret stuff off stream tonight, and I hope that it turns into something really awesome. Either way, guys, take it easy. Peace.